Hey, I got something to say. It's been a busy week. Because it was International Women's Day yesterday, I decided for the month of March, I just might be bringing on 2 live guests. That's right. Not only did I have a special guest on Tuesday, the president of NABOS, shout out to Tina, because we're promoting a big event in April, so you got to check that out. But I'm also having Kim Sorrelle, who I am so excited and stoked to have on because I was just reading a little about her. Would she be wonderful to have on during Women's International Day? Woo-hoo! You figured it out, Kim!
It's a miracle. It is a day of miracles. I did. I figured it out. You're the best teacher. You are the best teacher.
Well, thank you. I like to say I keep it simple. I just keep it simple. And before we get into anything, I do want to read your bio, but I did not realize you're in Michigan?
I'm in Michigan. You're in Philly?
You know what? My husband's family grew up there, but I've never been.
Oh.
Yeah,
where in
my
Michigan?
family there.
Yeah?
I think near Grand Rapids, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm Grand Rapids.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Do you love it there?
I do. Yeah. It is great. Come and visit. You need to come and visit.
I know, because there's so many relatives, I could say. All right, that's a whole nother thing, but let me tell you a little bit about Kim. Kim is an entrepreneur, director, which I want to hear more about, of a humanitarian organization. I had to say that 3 times. Author and speaker. She devoted a year, this should be interesting, in search of the true meaning of love. And she found that, by the way, I keep reading that because I'm thinking to myself, she spent a year. I want you to think about this. She spent a year in search of the true meaning of love. And she found it. I keep going over why I keep saying a year. Is because that's no time at all, Kim. Like, that's like more. Her award-winning, best-selling book, Love Is, chronicles her sometimes funny, sometimes scary, always enlightening journey that led to life-changing discoveries found mainly on the streets of Haiti. Kim is now on a mission to change the world with the power of love. Well, Kim, if you found it in a year, that's amazing. That was life-changing for sure.
Yeah, oh my word. It was absolutely life-changing. And I have to say, when I go out to a restaurant, I have a hard time committing to an entree. So committing a year to something was a real big deal for me. It wasn't that easy, but I did it. I did it.
Well, you know what? For all the ladies and men listening, there's something about, well, people say, I've been looking for love my whole life, so that's why I was joking. But the point is, and I'm all about this, you were being intentional. So this was like, I need to know, so give us some background, because I know no background about this. So why did you start? I mean, there's so much to pick apart about. I want to hear about the organization, but let's dive right into what made you go, okay, I'm just going to make this a year journey, because being intentional is huge.
I agree. Being intentional is huge. You know, you need to be if you really want to get to somewhere, right? Yeah. I was diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago, and 4 months later, my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and he died 6 weeks after that. And it made me question a few things. And I was 47 years old and single, and was going to be the 95-year-old couple on rockers drinking lemonade and smiling at each other on a front porch, or whatever it is 95-year-old people do on a front porch drinking lemonade. And so all of a sudden, to be 47 and alone, I didn't know what life was going to bring, but I did know that to really honor my husband, I wanted to live fully. I believed that that was the best way to really honor him. So I wanted to make sure I was doing this life right. I had a great marriage. He was a wonderful man. I miss him like crazy. He was a great guy, and I want to honor him. And so I want to live fully, completely, and do it the right way. So I questioned the true meaning of love, because it seems to be this mystery, right? Like, you can get 10 people lined up and they'll give you 10 different answers if you say, what is love? And, you know, Nicholas Sparks writes about it, and Ed Sheeran sings about it, and, you know, there's all these different things out there about love, but not everything done or said in the name of love is actually love. And so I wanted to figure it out. So that's why this journey.
Okay, makes a little more sense to me. And now we need to dive in. So you decide you're taking that journey. Okay, now I can see why. The greater good. Why Haiti?
Well, when I was able finally to go back to work after getting through all my medical stuff, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I had businesses, but I had people running them, so I really didn't have to go back there. I didn't know what my life was going to look like, so I kind of wanted to take it slow.
Okay.
So I decided I would be a part-time bookkeeper for this humanitarian organization that my father and I had started 10 years before then, but had somebody else running at the time. And 12 days into my part-time bookkeeping job, there was an earthquake in Haiti that killed 200,000 people. So I went from part-time bookkeeper to 24/7, and I was in Haiti shortly after. Within a couple of weeks, I was in Haiti. And then for the next several years, I spent at least part of every month in Haiti working.
Wow. So what is the name of the organization that you and your father started 10 years ago?
Rays of Hope International.
All right, tell us a little bit more about that, Kim.
Yeah, well, we're a partnering organization. So we work with people in their own country that have a passion, a vision to do something to help people in their own country, and just need someone to walk alongside. So they already understand the language, they understand the culture, and they understand the true need. And they just need a little help. Like, maybe they need some seed money to get going. Usually they need a business plan that can lead towards self-sustainability, so they're not chasing dollars forever. But they might need, you know, it's awfully hard to have a school without pencils, or a clinic without medical supplies, right? Yeah. So filling in the gaps for them, getting the things that they need to fulfill the mission that they have.
That's awesome. So it's not just Haiti, it's anywhere.
Right. Like we, yes, yeah, kind of it is. You know, it's, yeah, just because, I mean, we've been in several countries, but we haven't been in all of them.
Yeah, but it's where it takes you. I get it, where the need is, right. And then you go. Okay, Kim. So you said that you found what love, the meaning of true love, was mostly in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know more.
Yeah, I can. Well, I used this 2,000-year-old poem because I had to figure out a way to go about it. I needed some sort of a roadmap. And so I used this 2,000-year-old poem that you hear at a lot of weddings. Love is patient, love is kind, does not envy, does not boast. Your eyes kind of glaze over because you've heard it so often. And I decided I would take one word a month and figure out, well, what is love that is patient? What is love that is kind? The first thing I figured out is that there are 14 is's and isn't of love in that poem. So it took me a little longer than a year, actually. But I figured out that what I thought love was that isn't necessarily love. Like, oh my gosh, from the very first month, the very first word, patience and love that is patient are two completely different things. You put love is or love is not in front of a word or a phrase, it changes everything.
Oh man, you just got deep on me, Kim. I'm thinking, wait a minute. Okay. So I love the fact that you took a word a month, because I love words. I mean, I focus on a word a day. How am I going to show up so that they have a lot of meaning to me? And just focusing on one word is huge. Was this for you? I don't want to say the Eat, Pray, Love journey, but was that what it was like, discovering, like, how do you always show up with love no matter what's going on? Like, did that come about because they're asking, what does love mean to Kim?
Well, absolutely, it was just for me. I thought, if I never tell a soul, if I end up writing a book, because I was writing along the way. As I was going, I was writing, because I write.
Yeah.
And but I thought, if it never becomes a book, if it never gets published, never anything, I needed to do this for me. I just needed to do it for me. So yes, it was more like an Eat, Pray, Love journey. Absolutely.
Okay. So what was your biggest discovery? They want to know. So the questions are coming in, and they're coming in. I'll get to some of them.
So my biggest discovery was that there are things that we're told about love regularly that a lot of us hear that are not true. Like, for instance, we're told that love is a two-way street, right? You hear that, love's a two-way street, or people will put a number to love. Love's 50-50, or it's 100-100. And none of that is true. Love is on you, period. Love is a one-way street. If you give love to get love, first of all, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and heartache and loneliness. And that's not what love does. If you give love to get love, it's like I give you money and you give me a pair of jeans. It's a transaction. And love is not a transaction. You know, we control nobody but ourselves, right? Like, you have a son, Cole, right? I don't know. Yeah. I love the name, by the way. Love the name. But so when you bring that baby home, you have 100% control. You decide when they eat, when they sleep, when you put them in the crib, when they get a bath, you know, you decide it all. Well, 6, 7, 8 months later, all of your Tupperware is all over the kitchen floor, and pots and pans are banging everywhere. You realize that you have lost all control, and you will never get it back again. We only control ourselves. We only control ourselves. So if you're giving love to get love with this expectation of love in return, you have no control over that. And people will never live up to your expectations. You know, you're going to be disappointed. Love just loves, period. That it's that simple. Just love people, just love. And love is special in that it typically comes back to you. But that's not why you do it to begin with.
You know, I agree with you. And I think for many of us, and this woman's saying, I get it. What is she saying? I get it logically, but emotionally, sometimes it's hard when you give so much love and you don't get it back. You know, and she's referring to some family members, maybe some kids, they don't feel appreciated, you know. But she gets logically why you're saying that. So she wants to know, what can she tell herself when she gets frustrated? Ask him. When I get frustrated because it's not coming back, what can I tell myself?
Well, so much that I learned about love, I had to practice at, because I stunk at so much of it. And this was something that I really had to practice, was to not have expectations. You know, love doesn't have expectations. Yeah. And when I was early married, I thought this one day, oh my gosh, I'm going to make my husband so happy. You know, I'm going to make his favorite dinner. He loved lasagna, and he loved German chocolate cake. I made a German chocolate cake from scratch, cleaned the apartment, couldn't wait for him to come home, put candles on the table, put on something a little slinky, sexy. Yeah. And he walked in the door and acted like it was any other day. He didn't say anything. He didn't say, baby, you look so great, and oh my gosh, the place looks so great. He said nothing. He's like, well, how was your day? How was your day? Like, just any other day. Well, we sit down for dinner, and I'm thinking, certainly, he's going to notice the candles. I mean, he's got to say something. And I made lasagna. I mean, it takes a minute to make lasagna. And still, all through dinner, he says nothing. He said nothing. Yeah. I was so angry by the end that I practically threw the cake at him because I was pissed. I'm thinking, yeah, who does he think he is not saying anything? And he said, are you mad? And I said, yes, I'm mad. And why are you mad? Well, because you haven't said a thing. You haven't said it. I worked so hard. You haven't said a thing. And he said, now, wait a minute. He said, first of all, I can't read your mind. Secondly, I've done nothing wrong. You are mad because of your own expectations.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, I got up from that table thinking, who does he think he is? He's not my father. Like, he can't teach me a lesson. He's my husband. I go into the bedroom, I slammed the door and was like, my expectations, what is he saying? I can't believe this is my fault. He's putting this on me. And then I went, my expectations. He was exactly right. It's my expectation. Our expectations are what screw us up. So Absolutely. When you have that family member that you're not getting love back from, or a friend, you don't have to like everybody. Love and like are two different things. You know, you don't have to hang with everybody. Family, sometimes we don't even like our families that much. You know, I mean, friends you might like more because you pick those out. Family, you don't get a choice. You know, they are who they are. And, you know, you try to get along and try to make things work, but with no expectations, zero expectations. And how often do you hear somebody say, oh my gosh, they didn't even say thank you, or I went to their daughter's wedding, where are they at mine, you know, whatever. But you do things because love is kind. So you do kind things, you show kindness, are kind, and give of yourself because that's what love does, with zero expectation of getting anything in return. But it takes practice to think that way.
Absolutely. Years ago, somebody said, I wish I could remember who said this to me, but you know how somebody says something to you and 20 years go by and you're like, oh, that's what they meant, right?
Right.
Somebody said to me early in my marriage, Sandy, what your love is to you is different than your spouse's. What someone's expectation of love is so different. If you think this is what I would do, this is what I will do, it's going to be a long marriage. And I remember that because everyone shows love in such different ways. So when you're saying expectations, the same thing. Well, if it was me, I would do this. I'd say, oh my God, look at the candles. And I love lasagna because that's what I would do. But I get it. But that, every time I go to say something now, I remember what this person said to me. Like, love shows up in different ways. And it doesn't mean the other person doesn't love you. You know, it doesn't mean that. Just because they don't do
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows up in so many different ways. Is saying that. Okay. I have to admit, after Kim's story, I definitely would justify having resentment. Like, because that's what a lot of women would say, right? Your husband's right with resentment. And I'm cracking up because somebody just said this on another podcast, and I love it. Resentment is poison that you take yourself in hopes the other person dies. Is that the best?
That should be on a T-shirt, I think.
I want to feel that. Resentment is poison you take yourself and hoping the other person. I just thought I'd throw that out. Kim, I love this. And I want to backtrack because a lot of the questions are coming in about this. And I'm all about the little things you do every day to build the positive habit, right? You know, things that serve you well. And what you're saying is it just wasn't like, okay, this is just the way I'm going to be. You had to work on it.
Oh, I did. Oh, my word. You know, like the very first month, love is patient. I'm thinking, oh, this will be easy. I know what patience is. You know, I'm not honking my horn if I'm stuck in traffic, or I'm not mad because my 5-year-old can't find his shoes and it's time to leave for school, you know, whatever. But love that is patient is so different from that. Love that is, and I just believe you're supposed to love everybody. Just love everybody. And so whoever it is that you're with, to show love that is patient, you are 100% there. You recognize that what's in the past is in the past. What's in the future is yet to come. This is the most important moment of your life, right here, right now. And so you are fully, completely right here, right now. And I'll tell you, I had to practice and practice and practice this one, because I thought I was the queen of all things multitasking. Like, I would be in conversation, thinking about a meeting I had later, what I had to get from the grocery store, who had to get to soccer practice, and think that I'm fully engaged at the same time. And it's just not true. So when I practiced this and became fully present, showing love that is patient, my ears opened up. I heard things I never would have heard. And I'm hearing the actual words instead of making assumptions about what somebody's going to say based on what I know about them or some label that I put on them, because love doesn't label people. Love doesn't make those assumptions. So to be loving in that moment, recognizing that this is the moment, be fully there, it changed. It was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of practice, but it was a game changer.
Yeah. And I'm going to repeat it again. I love the fact that you focused on that one thing intentionally for a month. For a month. That's awesome. All right. So they want to know, what was the most difficult or challenging word for you with love of all the
easy. Yeah, it's a very easy answer for me. I was dreading, love keeps no record of wrongs. I was dreading doing that month. I did all the months in a row except that one. I put it off because I was dreading it. I thought, well, what the heck? You might forgive people, but you don't forget the things that happened to you, right? So I had no idea what that could possibly mean. Well, the month that I was working on that, I'd gotten a phone call from a man in the U.S., and he asked if I would show him this water project I'd been working on in Haiti. I was sure, absolutely. He wondered if he would be a part of it. And so 8 men came over from the U.S., and then 2 of my Haitian friends, who both happened to be men that were working on the water project, came along because they could translate and they could show the water project. And so we got out to the countryside to where we were going to stay. And it was just this little building with 2 rooms. And each room had 4 twin-size beds. So 8 American men, 2 Haitian men, and me. But we brought along 2 cots. We brought along an air mattress. So I'm thinking, oh, we'll make room. You know, we'll slide stuff over. We'll make room. We'll be okay. Well, the head of the American guys pulled me over. Kim, can I talk to you? I'm like, sure. He said, did you see the rooms? And I'm thinking, buddy, there's nothing else to see. And then I went, oh, he's going to think I want my own room. So I'll just say, well, it's okay, I'll sleep outside. And he'll say, oh, no, if anyone should sleep inside, it should be you. And then I'll say, well, I don't care if there's other people in the room. And then he'll go, great, because there's only so much space. So I said, well, it's okay, I'll sleep outside. And he said, oh, good. Because there are men on this trip that would not be comfortable with a woman in their room. And I'm thinking, I wear pajamas to bed. And Haiti is hot. Like, you go in there to sleep only. You're not going in there to hang out. And I'm thinking, what is going to happen in a room full of people in the middle of the night in Haiti? Like, why would they be uncomfortable? I mean, put some clothes on. You sleep naked? Like, what's the deal? So I had to figure it out, because I said I would do it. So I had to figure it out. And so I looked around. There was this piece of plywood kind of being held up by these pieces of wood somehow. And I thought, well, if I sleep under there, at least if it rains, I won't get wet. But I was scared to death, because there are tarantulas, and there are snakes, and there are chupacabras, or whatever it is that is lurking in the bushes of Haiti. And so I was so afraid to sleep on the ground. So the first night I go to bed, blow up my air mattress. I held there for about an hour, and then I was laying on gravel. And it was so loud because dogs were barking and barking and horns were honking. And finally, sometime after midnight, that died down. And then 2 a.m. or so, voodoo drums started in the distance. And then that went on for a couple hours. So then I was finally able to doze off after all of that and get a little bit of sleep. So the first night came and went, no problem. Second night, same thing. No air in the air mattress. And the dogs, the horns, the voodoo drums, finally I'm getting some sleep. But I woke up because there was something on my leg. And I thought, oh my word, does Haiti even have the anti-venom to whatever it is that's about to bite me? Like, am I going to be able to get airlifted to Miami in time to save my leg? Like, what is going to happen here? And so I slowly lifted my head and I slowly opened my eyes, and it was a chicken. There was a dang chicken on my leg. And I didn't know whether to be happy because it wasn't something worse, or mad because it woke me up from this little bit of sleep I was getting. Well, third night came and went, no problem. Fourth night, same thing. You know, I'm on the gravel, dogs, horns, voodoo drums, finally asleep. And again, I woke up because again, there was something on my leg. And again, I was shaken. I was scared to death. Like, I didn't want to jerk. I thought it's going to do whatever it's going to do to me. I don't even know. So I slowly lifted my head again and slowly opened my eyes. And again, it was the dang chicken. And again, I didn't know whether to be happy or mad about it. But I'll tell you, that night, we had chicken for dinner. So the fifth night came and went, no problem whatsoever. And at first, I was bitter. I was angry. I thought, who do these guys think they are? You know, I'm all about equality. But this isn't equal. This is, Kim, you're less than. You deserve to sleep outside. You know, I wasn't being treated equal. And I thought, hey, I hope my sons wouldn't treat a woman like that. Like, treat anybody like that. Like, what is that about? And then I thought, well, you know, bitterness only hurts me. I mean, we know bitterness only hurts us. Yeah. And so I can't be bitter. And then it hit me. Love does not keep record of wrongs. I finally understood what it meant. Like, I will never forget that time. I'll never forget it. But instead of it being these rotten men that did this rotten thing to me, now it's just kind of a funny story that I lived through, and I could literally sleep anywhere in the world and be perfectly fine. Love that doesn't keep record of wrongs just changes the narrative. It changes the tone of the story. Because we pick it. We pick the tone of the story, right? Absolutely. I mean, two people in the same traffic jam, one of them's honking his horn, his blood pressure's going up like crazy, and he's yelling out the window. Guy next door goes, I really like that Sandy Joy, and I love her podcast. I'm going to listen to that and just chill, you know? Like, in the same traffic jam. So we pick it. We pick it. So love that doesn't keep record of wrongs. Yes, you remember. Of course you remember, but it doesn't have to be this awful thing. You are in control of the narrative of the story.
I love the chicken story. But because we're short on time here, here's the thing that I'm getting out of this. So many times we say, yes, I'll do that, and we agree to it. But then we're resentful, or like you said, bitter. But if I agreed to it and I did it versus, no, I'm not sleeping like out there, you know, then that's a different thing. But once you say, okay, I'm doing this, then you got to let it go. You're right. But it's really, really hard. You know,
it can be.
It's really
doesn't have to be, but it can be. Yeah.
So I know we're supposed to end, but I just want to get this in because I was going backwards because I wanted to end on this. Your one positive thing you wanted to get out in the world. And you say, in this sometimes blurry-eyed, hurried life, remember this is the most important moment of your life. The past is the past, the future is yet to come. Give yourself fully to this moment, and the ones that follow you will be better for it. Now, you touched on that and said how much it really has changed your life, that you realized being present, really, you heard so many different things and you saw so many different things. What they're asking is, when you were saying you multitask and you feel like you're getting so much done. Do you truly feel by being present only in this moment that you're getting as much done as you could? They really want to know.
Oh, 100%. Because this moment's going to come and go with or without you, right? So this moment's going to happen. You know, you're engaged, you're talking to somebody. If you're thinking about other things, you're not getting those things done because you're here. This is where you are. So you're not getting those things done anyway. And I'll tell you, like, this is something I wish that I would have known years ago when I had little ones running around. My son Luke, oh my word, he would poke my arm, poke my arm, poke my arm, mom, 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 mom. And looking back, you know, as I'm at the stove making dinner or whatever, and here's Luke, mom, mom, mom. If I would have just stopped for a moment and looked him in the eye and said, what would you like, Luke? He probably would have said something like, this truck is red, and then ran off. Like, so often we think that if we start to talk to somebody, it's going to be an hour. Well, it doesn't have to be. And if that moment is inconvenient for you, like you're in a hurry, you have a deadline, you got to pick up a kid from school, you got an appointment, whatever it is, you can say to people, I want to talk to you, but I can't right now because I've got this appointment. And so I can't be fully here right now. Like, I'll be thinking about this thing. So how about I call you later? Or let's, you know, catch up next week or whatever.
I love that. I love that. There's a joke here that people say about me. I've practiced so much staying in the moment because I really, truly want to be there for someone. I want to be fully present and listen, but I can't do two things at once. I literally, if I'm texting, I can't hear you. I have to say, wait a minute, I'll be back. You know what I mean? Like, because if I'm talking to you on the phone, I could get lost walking down the road because I'm so into you. And I honestly think one of the best gifts you can give someone is just truly be present and listen to them. I don't have to say anything.
Right. It might not have to say a word, not a word. Because, you know, we don't fix people. We you know, I thought I could fix everybody. Like, I thought that was part of my job. And it's not. Your job is to love. You don't have to fix anybody. You know, people don't need your unsolicited advice. You know, sometimes that backfires on you like crazy. Like, if people want advice, they'll ask for it. But, you know, I was really good at going, oh my gosh, if you just tried this, and well, have you ever done that? And you know, try this. Well, that's not what they want to hear sometimes. Sometimes people just need to be heard, period. And you don't have to say a word.
I got to end with this because it's cracking me up. This young lady says, I love the fact that you said, I don't have to like everyone, I just have to love them. But it doesn't mean I have to like everyone. Well, I was at a networking event last week, Kim, and I'll never forget it. This guy, I was saying, well, I got to make sure I talk to someone. And he's like, Sandy, you know, you don't have to like everyone. I go, well, you know, I'm trying to see the best in everyone as much as I can. He said, my grandmother told me that I don't want to see anybody starve, but it doesn't mean I'm inviting them to my table. I go, what? He goes, yeah, I don't want, she used to tell me, I don't want anybody to starve, but it doesn't mean I have to have them at my table. That reminded me of what you were saying. You just have to love everyone. It doesn't mean you have to spend time with them or hang out with them.
Exactly. I mean, there's only so many hours in the day. You can only have so many close friends, right? First of all. And secondly, personalities don't always mesh. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. People have different opinions. That's fine. People are allowed to have their own opinion. It's all okay. You know, when we say we love people, so often you hear people say, oh, I love everybody. But those darn Democrats, I love everybody. But those Republicans, well, then you don't love everybody. Just let people be who they believe they're created to be. You be who you believe you're created to be. And that's all you got to do.
Well, Kim, I think that's a good note to end on. I'm so glad we connected. We've never met before. You reached out, and I just was blown away by what, you know, you sent me, and now I even want to know you more. This has been so fun. I love sharing your story. And for anybody watching, I know a lot of people came in late. Don't worry if you didn't see it from the beginning. When we're finished here, I will record it and put it on all platforms. So it'll be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, the websites. Kim and I would really appreciate you sharing it and lighting it and rating it. I'm sure there's so many people that you know will be inspired. But before we go, my hey, I got something to say people want to know how they can find you, Kim, and find your book.
Well, I'm literally the only Kim Sorrelle on the face of the earth that is spelled my way, because my last name's ridiculous. It has way too many letters, 2 R's, 2 E's, 2 L's, Sorrelle. And so I am the only Kim Sorrelle. So kimsorrelle.com is my website. My book is Love Is. This is what it looks like. It's available at brick and mortar stores like Barnes & Noble, but it's available on all the online booksellers as well, Amazon, wherever. Love Is. And so Love Is hopefully an easy title to remember. Dark blue cover, Kim Sorrelle, kimsorrelle.com. But I'm on all the social media too. I love people. I truly do love people and love to connect. And so please, anybody reach out.
I'm sure they will. All right, my head, I got something to say. You know what I'm going to say. Until next time, toodles. Bye, Kim.
Bye. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.